Welcome, my fellow miniature-loving chums, to the 8th Colonel Marvel's Miniatures Review vidcast. It's been another strong week this week, so let's crack straight on. Sponsored in part by Rattlehead Games, currently taking pre-orders for the new Wardroids and Wardroid upgrade packs from Pig Iron Productions. We kick off at 10 this week with Ollie's Armies. Bob Ollie has released his first limited edition collection piece, Grim Reaper in a Graveyard. There are only 100 castings and the cost is £14.99 UK pounds. Now, I'm usually a sucker for the Bob Meisters stuff, but I must admit that neither the subject matter or indeed the price is doing a lot for me with this particular sculpt. So we'll move swiftly on to number 9 this week, brought to us by Privateer Press's Hordes. On the left we have Alton Ashley, Monster Hunter, and on the right a Scorn Ancestral Guardian. The Scorn does nothing for me, I'm afraid, but the Monster Hunter is quite fun with the blunderbuss-style gun and the flying helmet goggles. And at number 8 this week we have some more new releases from Privateer Press, this time from War Machine and their Superiority expansion. I must admit there's nothing that particularly inspires me about this Signar Trencher Grenade Porter. I can't give you a price on this one either at the moment. However, this Cador Winter Guard Rocketeer is a different kettle of fish altogether. It has a lot more character and really gets an old duffer like me thinking about desperate Soviet defenders at Stalingrad. Cool stuff from Privateer Press. Reaper miniatures are at number 7 this week. These familiars, produced for the Warlord range, are a lot of fun. In particular, the little African-style homunculus on the bottom right will go down a treat in my fantasy Nubian army. I also really like the horn-blowing satyr on the top row there. Each pack of 5 will cost $8.99 US. At 6 is our old chums at MSB Toys. This rather cool demon bat will cost $6.50 and will be available from the 18th of August. This miniature is another superb sculpt from MSB, with great detailing on the body as you can see in this close-up. My real concern, however, is that with only one wing outstretched he does come across as a little lopsided. Crocodile Games take the number 5 spot. Crocodile made available for just the 4 days of Gen Con some pre-releases for 2 of their upcoming ranges. First up, this is an abominable snow beast costing $54.95 US from their War Gods of Hyperborea range. And as an example of their other range, War Gods of Olympus, this is Leonidas, King of Sparta, who will cost $9.95 US. Agonisingly just outside the top 3 this week, it's Morgan Keith Studios. This is Hesperus, and she'll be available from August 15th, priced at $14.99 US. She's cast in 7 pieces, filling a 3-inch area when assembled. This is my favourite sculpt from MK Studios so far. An unusual subject done with great detail. It's a really nice one-off figure. This episode sponsored in part by the Fiend Foundry, who produce quality resin terrain at an affordable price. At 3 this week we have Rackham's AT-43. I'm always in 2 minds about this new range from Rackham, depending on which pre-release picture I've seen last. Certainly based on these images, the sci-fi figures look great. I guess in the end it will all depend on 2 things, the quality of the pre-painted paint jobs and the price. If the paint quality is as high as suggested here in this image, then I think they could be onto a winner. And this is another great sculpt. I think the jury is going to be out on this range until they are finally released. Pipped at the post this week at number 2 is Black Scorpion. Here are a couple of the 4 new mounted Tombstone figures. Top sculpts as always from Black Scorpion. This one is probably my favourite. I always like the imagery behind fighting preachers out in the Badlands. So these figures are due for release in September and will be sold and priced individually. The coveted number 1 spot this week goes to Heresy Miniatures. This Ghoul King was sculpted by Paul Muller and is priced at £4 UK on pre-orders. It really is a nasty looking figure, a big fat bloater of a baddie wielding a shovel that looks like it will cause some seriously ugly damage. Some lovely extra details on this too, with a large rat familiar clinging to the back of his neck. It's just a great looking mini all round and deserves a number 1 spot this week. And this seems an appropriate time to mention that Heresy are doing a special deal until August 20th, where all orders over £25 British will not only have the usual free shipping, they'll have 20% off the price too. Well, that just about wraps up this week's show. Thanks for listening, and I hope to see you here again next week.